Most people don't realize this, but inflation isn't a far-off economic concept. It's not some Wall Street buzzword or something only economists worry about. It's happening to you right now, every time you check your bank account and wonder why things feel tighter, even though you didn't change your habits. Here's the cold truth. Every dollar you keep in your savings account is quietly losing value. Not because of theft, not because you spent it, but because inflation is stealing your buying power, silently, invisibly, and relentlessly. You might be thinking, but I'm doing the responsible thing. I save, I budget, I don't waste money. And I get it, you're not lazy, you're disciplined. But here's the mental punch. Saving alone isn't protecting you anymore. In fact, in times like these, it might be doing the opposite. Inflation in America hasn't just been rising, it's been biting. Grocery bills are up, rent's up, gas is up. Your paycheck, still flat. And while your money sits in a 0.01% interest savings account, inflation's running at 3, 5, even 7% some months. That means every $10,000 you save is worth less every single day. You're not standing still, you're falling behind. This isn't fear, this is reality. And it's not your fault. Most of us were raised with this idea that saving equals security. Our parents told us to stash cash just in case. The media praised emergency funds. And sure, a safety net is important. But a net can't carry you forever. This is your wake-up call. Inflation isn't waiting. The economy doesn't pause until you figure things out. If your money isn't growing, it's shrinking. Period. So let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you truly felt in control of your money? Do you feel like your savings are working for you, or just sitting there, eroding slowly? You're not alone. Most people never learned how to fight inflation because no one taught us how. But today, that changes. This video is not just about surviving inflation. It's about flipping the script, turning your money from a passive victim into an active defender of your future. You don't have to be rich to protect yourself. You just have to stop playing defense with outdated rules. And the first step, it's realizing that playing it safe is no longer safe. Asterisk, if I just save more, I'll be fine. It sounds responsible, even noble. You hear it all the time, from your dad who worked 40 years for the same company. From personal finance blogs that preach frugality like religion. Even from your own inner voice when you're stressed about money. Just tighten the belt. Cut out the Starbucks. Cancel Netflix. Save harder. We've been conditioned to believe that saving is the ultimate safety net. That it's the grown-up thing to do. That if you're worried about the future, the best defense is a bigger pile of cash. No risk. Just discipline. But here's the kicker. That belief used to work. Used to. Back in the 80s or 90s, putting your money in a savings account actually meant something. You'd get 5% interest. CDs gave you a little breathing room. The dollar held its ground better. But that world is gone. Today, most savings accounts barely give you 0.01% interest. And inflation is sprinting way past that. It's like trying to run a race while standing still. Still, that old belief is hard to shake. It's been hammered into us for decades. Save, save, save. Be careful. Don't take chances. Investing. That's for rich people or stockbrokers in suits, not you. You just want peace of mind. But let's be real. Is your current strategy actually giving you peace? You're watching prices go up while your money stays flat. The rent you used to cover easily now takes up more of your paycheck. Groceries that used to cost $100 now ring up at $140. And yet, the answer we cling to is always, I just need to save more. It's not a lack of effort. It's a mental trap. You see, we equate saving with safety because it feels controlled. There's no roller coaster like with investing. No market crashes to fear. But the irony is, by refusing to take strategic risks, you're exposing yourself to a different kind of danger, the slow bleed of inflation. It's like trying to protect your home by locking the front door, while the back wall is wide open. You feel secure, but you're exposed in ways you don't even realize. And it's not just financial, it's psychological. When you believe saving is your only weapon, you ignore every other tool that could actually protect you. You stay in survival mode. You keep budgeting harder, cutting deeper, stressing more, and still losing ground. So ask yourself this, is the belief that saving is enough still serving you? Or is it keeping you stuck in a system that no longer works? Because if you're feeling the squeeze right now, if your dollars don't stretch like they used to, then maybe it's time to admit something bold. Saving alone is no longer enough. And believing it is, might be the most expensive mistake of your life. Asterisk. Asterisk. If you grew up in an American household, where money was tight, or even just uncertain, it makes perfect sense that you'd cling to the idea that saving equals security. Maybe your parents sat at the kitchen table late at night, whispering about layoffs or credit card bills. Maybe you watched them stretch every dollar, celebrate coupons like wins, and treat the idea of investing like it was reserved for Wall Street insiders or the lucky few who already had money. That's the script most of us inherited. And if your family lived through the 2008 financial crisis, that script probably got even darker. You watched people lose homes, retirement accounts vanish, entire lives upended overnight, not because they were irresponsible, but because the system cracked. If you were a teenager or in your 20s back then, that kind of trauma brands you. You don't forget seeing your parents cry over money, or hearing that your friend's dad got laid off and never really bounced back. So of course, the idea of putting your hard-earned money anywhere but a safe savings account feels terrifying. Risk becomes a four-letter word. Your brain says, don't be stupid, don't gamble, just hold on to what you've got. You were taught to play defense, and to keep playing it, no matter how the game changed. But here's the emotional blind spot. We're still using survival strategies from a world that doesn't exist anymore. Inflation today isn't subtle. It's not a distant threat. It's in your grocery cart. It's in your rent. It's in every $20 bill that suddenly feels like it only buys $12 worth of life. And yet, your instincts still whisper, save more, spend less, stay put. It's not laziness. It's not ignorance. It's protection. It's the deeply human desire to avoid pain. The kind your family went through. The kind you've tasted yourself. And when you've felt that fear, when you've lived paycheck to paycheck, taking your money and putting it into something you can't control feels reckless. Even if, deep down, you know what you're doing now isn't working either. Let's tell the truth here. The fear of investing didn't come from numbers. It came from experiences, from stories, from wounds, from watching too much go wrong for too many good people. We've all been emotionally trained to play small with our money, to believe that avoiding risk is the same as avoiding loss. But in a high inflation world, that equation flips. Because now, the risk isn't taking action, it's standing still. And when you realize that your fear isn't just financial, but emotional, you finally understand why it's so hard to make a move. You're not lazy, you're not irrational, you're carrying history. And history, unexamined, becomes chains. The good news, you can break them. But first you have to forgive yourself for believing that saving was the answer, because, at one point, it really was. Now, it's time to evolve. Here's the truth that doesn't get taught in school. Inflation isn't just some economic villain lurking in the shadows. It's a signal, a loud one. And if you've been feeling stressed about money, that pressure you feel, that's inflation, tapping you on the shoulder, saying, hey, your old strategies aren't working anymore. See, inflation isn't your enemy. It's your wake-up call. It's the universe telling you, you can't afford to play passive with your money anymore. Because money doesn't just need to be saved, it needs a job. And that job is to outpace inflation. Not sit quietly while it slowly becomes less powerful. The moment you stop seeing inflation as a threat, and start seeing it as a challenge, something you can beat with the right moves, everything shifts. You stop playing defense. You stop clutching your cash like a lifeline. And you start looking for ways to make your money move smarter, not just sit still. Let's reframe the fear of investing for a second. Most people avoid it because they think it's a casino. Unpredictable, risky. But the stock market isn't a slot machine. Not if you treat it like a long-term tool, instead of a get-rich-quick scheme. The S&P 500, the 500 biggest US companies, has historically returned around 8 to 10% annually over time. Yes, it goes up and down in the short term, but long term, it's been one of the most reliable inflation beaters in history. That's not a gamble. That's a shield if you use it right. Or take I-bonds, savings bonds issued by the US Treasury, specifically designed to rise with inflation. They're not sexy. They won't make you rich overnight, but they're built for exactly the problem we're talking about: protecting your purchasing power in inflationary times. Even something like a low-cost index fund, held consistently over years, can help your money grow instead of shrink. And you don't need a finance degree or a trust fund to get started. You just need to stop believing that sitting still is the smart move. Because the real risk today It's not losing money in the market. It's losing quietly, month after month. While your dollars do nothing. Reprogramming your money mindset is the first real investment. It's realizing that being safe now means being strategic, not scared. It's admitting that what got you here, budgeting, saving, surviving, won't get you where you actually want to go. Freedom. Financial freedom isn't about having millions. It's about knowing inflation can't rob you anymore. It's about sleeping at night, knowing your money is working, even while you're not. You don't have to become a stock expert overnight. You don't have to bet big or risk it all. You just have to take one step from defense to offense. Asterisk, asterisk. Let's bring this down to earth. Theory is great, but what does actually fighting inflation look like in real life? Let me tell you about Mike. Mike's 38, lives in Ohio, works full-time in it, makes decent money, nothing flashy. For years, he did what everyone told him was smart. He saved religiously. He had a budget, cut unnecessary expenses, maxed out his savings account, and every time inflation ticked up, he doubled down. Just save more, he thought. Play it safe. But then groceries went up, gas went up, rent jumped $300 overnight, and one day, he sat down, looked at his account, and realized something terrifying. He was doing everything right, and still falling behind. That's when he stopped asking, how do I save more? And started asking, how do I protect what I've worked for? Mike didn't turn into a day trader. He didn't throw his life savings into crypto or try to beat the market. What he did was simple and powerful. He took 20% of what he had in savings and moved it into a low-cost index fund. The kind that tracks the entire market, like the S&P 500. He also bought a small amount of I-bonds through Treasury Direct. No big risk, just smart protection. The rest, he started learning, watching, reading, getting comfortable with the idea that money isn't supposed to just sit. It's supposed to work. Now, a year later, Mike's not rich, but he's stable. Inflation, it's still around, but it's not robbing him anymore. His money is moving slowly, steadily in the right direction. And most importantly, he feels something he hadn't felt in a long time, agency, because that's what this is really about. Not just beating inflation, but taking back control. There's no one-size-fits-all portfolio. What works for Mike might look different for you. Maybe you're into real estate. REITs are a great inflation hedge. Maybe you've got a side hustle and want to reinvest in your own business. Or maybe you just want your emergency fund split, some in cash, some in an inflation-protected asset like tips. The point isn't perfection. The point is movement. You don't need a financial advisor in a skyscraper or a six-figure salary. You need clarity. A willingness to shift from survival mode to strategy mode, and the courage to stop following outdated rules written for a world that no longer exists. Inflation is not your fault, but staying passive in the face of it, that's on you. Mike's story isn't special. It's available to anyone who decides to stop asking, how can I hold on to what I have? And starts asking, how can I grow what I've got? Because in this economy, standing still isn't neutral, it's losing. And the moment you realize that, you unlock the power to do something most people never will. Beat inflation at its own game. Asterisk, asterisk, if this conversation stirred something in you. Good. That discomfort you're feeling. That realization that maybe your money's been sitting still for too long. That's not failure. That's awareness. And awareness is how everything starts to change. You're not behind. You're waking up. Most people never get here. They stay stuck in financial autopilot, saving blindly, hoping things normalize, praying the economy magically slows down. But deep down, they feel what you feel now. That playing defense isn't enough anymore. That doing everything right and still losing ground means the rules have changed, and no one gave you the memo. Well, this is your memo. And now that you've seen it, you don't get to unsee it. You get to act. Look. No one's coming to rescue your money. Not the banks. Not the government. Not your employer. The system isn't built to protect your purchasing power. It's built to keep you working harder just to stay in the same place. But here's the twist. You're not powerless. You've never been. The real problem was never the inflation rate. It was the belief that you didn't have options. That investing was too risky or not for people like me. That you had to wait until you were making six figures or had a degree in finance before you were allowed to grow wealth. That's all a lie. Wealth is a mindset before it's a bank statement. It's not about how much you have. It's about what you do with what you've got. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be done waiting, done hoping inflation slows, Done watching your money shrink while you convince yourself you're being responsible. You are allowed to be strategic. You are allowed to protect yourself. And you are allowed, right now, to start moving from fear to freedom. This isn't about being rich. It's about being ready. Ready for rising prices. Ready for uncertainty. Ready to be someone who doesn't just react to money, but directs it. So, if this clicked with you, if even a part of you feels that pull to stop sitting on the sidelines of your own financial life, then this is your moment. Hit subscribe. Not for me, for you. Because every week we're going deeper, smarter, sharper. And because you're not just saving money anymore. You're building something, a future, a shield, a mindset. And it starts today.